Wonderful good day, YouTube. As you can see, we have a special occasion now. We are casting the third place match of the Rising Star tournament between Sapphire and Shark. This is a YouTube exclusive cast and kinda a test to see how you guys will like this. So let's jump straight into the action. We have Sapphire as the Wehrmacht, and on the other side we have Mr. Shark as the USF. So we are on Twin Beaches. This is the third place match as mentioned earlier, so whoever wins this will be the third best Rising Star player. Shark, as a fellow tournament organizer, made it pretty far into the tournament, pretty pogchammed there. He had this great showing for sure in the semifinals, and also got a little bit of a friendly banter there with his misuse of espionage, as you would like to say it, but now he has his chance to redeem himself, and as USF he's doing a Jeep Engineer start. On the other hand, on the other side, Sapphire is doing a Grenadier Captain start. So Twin Beaches, as we know, slow map, has not as much as it used to be due to the downturning of the few points on the beach and on the hill to 8 from 10. However, still a lot of resources there, and the Jeep is now trying to push off the Rifleman. Should be successful there. Scout came in as a supporting unit, and the Gren has to go home. The beautiful thing about the Jeep is all damage done to it will be just repaired away. No manpower damage was done to Shark. Shark is now capping the beach side. Captain is running away there, was not able to get the full cap. First Rifleman is now on the field for Shark, and as expected he was able to win the hillside, which is also not only because due to the Jeep, but also USF tends to win the hill on Twin Beaches right away. Riflemen are coming in to support against the Grenadier. Should be able to close the gap. Grenade out, will get dodged, however, so one model down. Grenadier decides to go home. And second major victory for Shark, which already shows KD wise he is 4-1 ahead KD wise, and now has now kept the beachhead as well, which also gives him a slight fuel lead. Jeep hits veterancy 1, not getting the captain. Could now go for the capping veterancy. Really strong on Twin Beaches. In the meantime, Shark now capping the left side up. We have a Pioneer from Sapphire capping there as well. Third Grenadier from Sapphire will hit. And I assume Sapphire will get infantry officer quarters, because that's the meta currently, so the power spike for Wehrmacht should be coming in soon. Yes, here we go. After officer quarters is done, Sapphire definitely will have a short moment where he has the strongest infantry thanks to the 10% harder to hit from veterancy 1. Huge push now from Sapphire towards the hillside. 2 Grenadiers are already in an engagement. Third one gets intercepted by the Rifleman, who's now hiding behind the wrecked Stummel, or 251. I think it's the normal 251. Rifleman on the hillside gets the height bonus, so it's something, but against 2 Riflemen obviously not standing a chance, now getting pushed back. Riflemen are now pushing towards the hill. Could commit there, decides to support, however, against the 1 Rifleman on the open side. Veterancy 1 now comes in. Jeep comes in to support. Should be capping the hill now. Captain comes in. We have snares in a couple of seconds though, and that will definitely turn the tables. Both Riflemen are off the field from Shark, so he's again outnumbered 3-1. And I'm not sure if taking disengagement is a desirable thing. However, due to the heavy investment of Sapphire towards the hillside, Shark was able to capture the whole beach side. First ammo investment also went down for a sweeper. Awesome to see. Oh, we have a 4th Grenadier, so we have some heavy tier 1 build there. 5 units, if you count the Captain as well. Not as common as it used to be, but nonetheless it's pretty strong build order, considering that the power spec that you get with officer quarters. However, it will delay your tier 2 or tier 3 play. Shark has still controlling the hill because Sapphire didn't focus it on decapturing, so now Shark has a sweeping 37 fuel per minute lead income. And this will be pretty juicy as USF. That Kaide screams fast Greyhound. He is now attacking Max Support Center. Grenadier getting forced off. Jeep is doing God's work there. Sapphire still struggling with map control. His build order with the heavy Grenadier investment kinda didn't pay out whatsoever. Now he is trying to do a counter attack on the beach side and he should be successful. However, a rifleman is coming in. The veterancy advantage from Sapphire though should be pretty juicy. Shark in the meantime will now also take bars and still has roughly 80 fuel in the bank, so he can go bars and fast Greyhound, and that's the wet dream of every USF player. Nice nade, but gets dodged. Veterancy 1 for the rifleman. Retreat nade. Perfect timing, however, not on the perfect spot. Therefore, rifleman will make it home. Rifleman now capping in the middle as well. Fiver pointer getting decapped over here now from Mr. Sapphire. Sapphire now taking tier 3 Panzer Grenadier officer, Panzer Grenadier company. We have Ketten decapping over here. Fast map regaining from Sapphire. That's the advantage of Ketten and a lot of grants. If you pushed off, you can regain relatively quickly map control. Shark in the meantime decided to pick heavy weapons, which means he could get a Pershing in the late game. Mine gets spotted. Will get cancelled. We have no bars for Shark. He has also some ammo in the bank for the second bar upgrade on at least one rifleman. No follow-up tech yet from Shark. He also has healed. The question though is, will he go tier 3? It kinda looks like it, or like resource-wise it would make sense. He has the resources for it. Skipping tier 3 would be greedy, and I don't see the need for tier 2. He has enough fuel. So ATHT is not really required there. Or GMC rather. I think that's the more co-free term. Refnon pushing on the hill. But however, if we have a veterancy advantage for the Grenadiers, Vet 2 against Vet 1 and both are Vet 1. However, bars are coming in handy. Might get the wipe there. That would be a huge pickup. We have a sprint now to get or closing the gap towards the other Grenadier. Grenadier with or Vet 2 Grenadier who just makes it home. Nate gets dodged over here. Rifleman has to retreat. 2 models are left. Should be fine. We have another Grenadier getting tied down by the Boar Rifleman, and I don't see Sapphire winning this engagement. He was so scared of a fast LV that he went AT gun first, which means no Stummel. Maybe he's going for 8-rod Colin. He has 2 CPs in the bank now. But the lack of an LV really hurting him there. Motor pool now coming up for Shark. He has 83 fuel still. Oh, yeah. I know it would be super off-matter and not tournament-like. But I would have loved to see a tier 4 play with Shark's amazing early game map control. But obviously not the most optimal way to do things. We have refitting of a Grenadier into a Panzer Grenadier. Vet 2 Gren getting converted. Here we go. Veterancy 1 immediately for the Panzer Grenadier without officer quarters. And nearly Veterancy 2, which is really strong. Veterancy 2 Panzer Grenadiers eat Veterancy 1 Rifleman for breakfast, even with a bar. We have 1 Rifleman with double bar already, which you can see on the plus icon. Riflemen are pushing now up towards the hill, or rather defending it. Huge push from Sapphire. I'm really interested to see what Sapphire's mid-game plan is. He has an AT gun, so he is set against a potential LV. AT gun is hard to use on this map, obviously, due to the way how the buildings interact and the shot blockers are. Nade out to block the wasted ammo. I feel like Shark should save his ammo and to get more double bars out. We have an interesting choice from Shark, and I think it's the first major plunder there tech-wise for Mr. Shark. We have an investment into a Chaffee. He's scared of an LV. Maybe he's smelling the Greyhound. Oh, bundle! Not perfectly in the retreat path. However, Sapphire is trying, and tier 3 without Stummel does not require much ammo, so throwing bundles and nades on retreat makes sense. Or it's not as bad as it could be. So Chaffee will hit the field. However, there is no LV on the field, which means Chaffee will be out of a job or no job whatsoever. He's joining a tough work market there. That's not having the right training there. He's not filling the job requirements as an anti-infantry unit. Grenadier from Sapphire. That's an interesting pick. Is he trying to vet up a Grenadier and convert it into a Panzer Grenadier? He has a couple veteran grants. AT gun is setting up. I'm not sure if it's in range. Greyhound has to pull back. And Greyhound kind of feels like a major mistake there from Shark. There are no targets. It looks like Sapphire is not planning to get an A-Rod. Building a Chaffee with such a big advantage as a preemptive unit kind of feels like a major mistake. However, Sapphire now investing more and more into infantry, so maybe attack into Greyhound as a second unit would make sense. Maybe tech up. We have a tier 4 tech now from Sapphire. Early tier 4, no LV. Basically skipping LV. So basically a mid-game into late-game push. Shark could build a 4th rifleman if he wants to. Trying to keep up with the horde of infantry that Sapphire is throwing on the field. Cutoff is getting harassed by Shark. Fourth rifleman as expected. We missed the wipe of the Jeep. I'm terribly sorry, just realized it. Pushing. Crushing. Destroying the cover. If it was the... No snare from Sapphire, realizing there won't be any follow-up. It would just drain ammo with no real impact. Sapphire unlocked the Panther, so it looks like he picked Mech for the Panther, not for an LV. Not sure if the Panther is really needed. But I'm just definitely interested to see what Sapphire's transitioning plan will look like. No big push from Shark down the road, trying to get rid of the AT gun, switches fire towards the Grenadier. Grenadier is retreating. Are we going to see a retreat nade? Nope. Shark is playing it safe. Should save up ammo for a double bar anyway. The good thing that Sapphire is doing actively or unknowingly, let's say he's doing it actively, he is harassing both 16-pointer ammo on the top side, which delays the bars heavily. However, one bar is more than enough to shred those poor riflemen. Panzer Grenadier now on the hill has to be careful. Might be the perfect opportunity for a merge. Rifleman number 1 is retreating and full retreat now from Shark. He is not taking any risk regarding wipes and is going home, which means Hill will now switch into the control of Sapphire, which will give him a income advantage. Let's have a look on the total fuel so far. Sapphire roughly 100 fuel behind. Yeah, more like 80 fuel. But it really shows how well Shark managed the early game. Sadly, Chaffee is not really affecting the game there. Alright, Grenadier over here has to go home soon as well. Now capping over here, now trying to walk into a cap. I'm not sure if the Rifleman can stay there. There are two Grenadiers in green, or at least one in green. Second Rifleman is coming in to support. More nades are out from Shark. Retreat nade. Gets the bottle. Might be a dead Rifleman. Nope. Results in a dead Grenadier. Sapphire was greedy and paid the ultimate sacrifice. Double bar Rifleman at Veteran C2. And no joke for sure. Now sprinting into position, they're closing the gap. Vet 2 advantage and double bar advantage. Grenadiers are basically useless. First medium tank will no hit the field. We have a P4 on the way for Sapphire. His skipping of the LV kinda closed the gap there, and due to Shark's Shafi investment, he was able to do so. However, Shafi will be able to act as a soft counter towards the P4. Still, Shark needs to build an AT gun. Ketten is getting hunted. Will make the escape. Grenadier getting pushed off. Oh, miss. Ketten never dies. P4 now on the field. Game is running a little bit choppy. I'm not sure why. I hope it's not too bad. P4 reveals itself now, gets the first shots in. It's getting snared. However, Shark has not enough ammo for a follow-up snare, so I'm not sure if that's the right call. Shafi is coming in. However, Shafi will get double snared. P4 misses. He will get a Grenadier though. Here we go. Grenadier goes down. Rifleman dodges it. Another Grenadier could make the ultimate sacrifice as well. Nope. P4 will get away with 50% HP. Now Shark is forced into an AT gun, which obviously is not the end of the world. However, yeah, the loss of the Shafi. Yeah. Obviously, Shafi was not a corner piece for Shark's army. But still, Shark investing into Hellcat. He's like, I don't need a generalist medium tank to deal with the P4 and the infantry. I'm already winning on all the infantry engagements with my riflemen, so I can invest into Hellcat. Hellcat obviously will counter the P4, but still needs to be really careful due to the AT gun and the snares. We have already one veteran C3 unit. It's a rifleman with the double bars, and red 3 riflemen are pretty good. We get 50 more health, 20% harder to hit, and plus 35% rate of fire. So they're pretty good. Map control, relatively even advantage though for Shark. Now he has the 16 pointer under his control, so he will get enough ammo in for the bars. And maybe for snares. Shark in the meantime has unlocked Black Dragon first. Interestingly, not going for Pershing Stall. Might get this if he gets the snare on the P4. He will get it. AT gun not in the backline as a supporting unit. We have to sprint in. Snare is out, and bye bye, Mr. P4. That was incredibly well played by Shark. It teaches the most profound lesson in co-history. Never leave your tanks unsupported. Always keep your AT guns in the backline of your tank. And keep a snare platform around as a potential help. Sapphire a little bit mad complaining there, but it's okay. I think nothing bad there. So we have a red 3 Panzer Grenadier as well. They're pretty good as well. Captain now being built by Shark. Keep in mind he went Mech Support Center. So Captain was never free. We have a new P4 on the way for Sapphire. Cancels it. A little bit of banter there, but that's okay. Maybe a Brumbear? He opts for a Stoßtrupp. No, cancels it. It's always a bad sign when you can queue 2 different units. It kind of tells like I have no idea what I should be doing. Maybe a Brumba has the resources for it now. Here we go, Brumba on the way. Brumba will help with the threat of the Rifleman. Maybe a second AT gun would do the trick. But map control is slowly slipping away from Sapphire. The map is pretty red. Cutoff is under control of Shark. Beach is now getting capped. Hill is getting capped. And overall, Shark is in a leading position. We also have a few cash coming down over here. Panzer Grenadiers, Veterans C3 are kind of the unit that keeps Sapphire in the game, but still, his life is on the line. He's not getting the vibes in the early game that he needed to get, or the positioning was also kind of off, and that really gave Shark the advantage there. I feel like if Shark went for Greyhound, then into AT and then tech up, he would have been far more ahead. But nonetheless, he got the P4, so he equalized resource-wise. And now with the double Grenadier wipe earlier, he has a really good lead. He has no double bar on 3 Riflemen, and all of them have vet 3. Brumbe, however, comes in and says, Guten Tag. Do you want to talk about our Lord and Savior 150mm gun? Sprint is in action. Rifleman could get the AT gun. That would be huge. Then the Brumbear would be in a world of pain. AT gun will drop a model, maybe a second one. Rifleman decides to go home. This Rifleman has to go home as well. Second Hellcat on the way from Shark. We have now Obersoldaten on the field. AT gun has to go home and reinforce. Hellcat gets a nice flanking shot in against the Brumbe as now. Hiding against the AT gun from the side blocker. Well microed there from Shark for sure. Yeah, Sapphire needs to do something to gain better map control. We have no heavy barrels and improvised armor on the way. He has the Pintle on the Hellcat, and with heavy barrels, the Hellcat gets a pretty nasty anti-infantry firepower with the Pintle. VP-wise, the game is pretty even, slight advantage actually for Sapphire, but I'm not sure if Sapphire will maintain this lead for a long time. Brumbe is getting repaired. Panzer Grenadier is now moving out. Brumbe, by the way, is the new skin, if I recall, and it looks pretty neat. If Shark can get rid of the AT gun, he will have a really easy day against the Brumbe, but obviously easier said than done. Snare number 1 out on the Brumbe. Obviously won't have the biggest impact besides cruise shock. Both Hellcats are far from the front, so they can't really utilize it. Pioneer pays the ultimate, sacrifice Shark a little bit slow there. Brumbe now ditching out some awesome damage. Here we go, Hellcats are going in. Getting some nice proc shots and now falling back. AT gun will go down, and now it's the perfect time for the Hellcats to go in. They're smelling blood. There are not many snare platforms for Sapphire. Rifleman has to go home. Shark could push the beach a little bit more. AT gun immediately gets crewed and merged. Hellcat's now falling back, will probably go to the repair point and be ready to kill in no time. So, and we have a small skirmish there on the hill. Captain Dan has to go home, has no chance against the Obersoldaten. He's soft retreating, probably could hard retreat. We have no rifleman coming in, getting Captain's threat. Should be enough. Yeah, especially with the red free rifleman coming in to support. Pershing was unlocked by Shark, but still some time away. Not that much though, with 34 fuel per minute. Nice Knight gets a lot of health damage done against the Grenadier, forces the Grenadier off. Panzer Grenadier has to go home as well. But Sapphire is trying with all his might to regain control over the hillside, and so far is not really able to succeed. Maybe making the game a little bit taller would do the trick. However, Brumbear is required to get decent support, otherwise it could die really quickly to the Hellcat flank, which we are seeing now. Shark, however, is a little bit scared, falls back, not trying to take any shots from the AT gun, which will save the bacon from the Brumbear. Beach now getting kept up by Shark, applying more and more VP pressure. Sapphire now behind Shark. Army-wise, he's still really behind. Stoßtruppen Veterancy 0 won't help much in the engagements, and Riflemen just are pulling away. We have no 3 Riflemen, Vet 3, and the other one I assume is halfway done there as well. Well, just hit Veterancy 2, but if Sharks keeps the Rifleman alive, there will be Vet 3 in no time. Sapphire also has a nice lineup and Vet 3 unit with double Grenadier and a Panzer Grenadier. However, he had some nasty losses earlier, and his infantry lineup kind of feels weakish. Maybe second AT gun into P4, something like that. P4 now on the way. I'm just not sure if he can cover the P4 with one AT gun. Hellcats can kill it really fast. Although Mech Battle Group didn't pay much for itself. So, looks like Sapphire is regretting this Battle Group choice. His plan is not really coming together. He has no Veterancy 1 on his pardon me, Stoßtruppen. Did he bought Veterancy 1? Nope. Rifleman getting a juicy flank. AT gun is there to cover double Rifleman retreat. Wonderful retreat, Nate! No, only HP damage could get a wipe. Nonetheless, the one model dropped. Another model dropped. And the Rifleman just makes it home barely, but he survives. Sapphire now trying to push the beach to regain map control, or at least a little bit of map control, so he has a fighting chance. Obviously, Twin Beaches is notoriously known for long games and comebacks due to the VP layout. Brumbear gets a nice shot in. AT gun is setting up, gets a shot in against the Hellcat. Hellcat hits Veterancy 2. Another nice hit by the Brumbear. Black Dragon is on the way. Late reaction. Oh, Panzer Grenadier! What is Sapphire doing? Don't push towards your enemy. Panzer Grenadier gets wiped. AT gun goes down. Oh, the Hellcat got missed. It might be enough. He gets one Hellcat, so it's something where 2 Hellcats pays the ultimate sacrifice. Hellcat now going in, but will fall back. No problem there. Might get the other Hellcat. Will this be the comeback that Sapphire was waiting for? But now the horde of riflemen is coming back. We have zeroing artillery from Mac coming in. Oh, Grenadier got wiped. Those are heavy losses for Sapphire. If he loses the Brumbear, that's game. It might be game though. With so little infantry, he can't hold the tight and cap map. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, and Sapphire calls it. It's 1-0 for Mr. Shark. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for game number 2 between Sapphire and Shark. We are once back on Twin Beaches, and we have Mr. Sapphire as the USF. And on the other side, we have Mr. Shark as the mighty Dag as the Africa Corps. And Sapphire immediately picking a BG. He is playing with the Free French and calling those nice infantrymen in. I have no idea how they're called. French rifle sections. So no fancy names there. So after an amazing game number 1 by Shark, is he able to reproduce it, or will Sapphire be able to equalize the score? Talking a little bit of beer there. So we have a Palm Grenadier on the field. We have a barracks built by Sapphire, so it's probably a mixed build order. So far, full French build orders never really performed well, so it looks like a mix there. And Free French are charging up the hill against the Dark player. They get now their volley fire, or however it's called, the stabilized shooting, because they're in cover for 2 seconds, and they should be easily able to push off those Panzer Pioneers. Now closing the gap, maybe increasing the chance of a wipe. We have now a Palm Grenadier coming into the mix, trying to get into better cover there. Shark is closing the gap. Not sure if that's the right call. Model drop number 1. We have a Jeep on the field. He's trying to close the gap, but Jeep takes some time till it's on the front line. Free French has to go home. However, a lot of HP was lost on the Panzer Grenadier or Palm Grenadier. Scout has to retreat. Here we go. Smoke from the Scouts on retreat. Will he get it? Nope. Now the Palm Grenadier has retreat. However, he gets the full cap there. So a victory for Shark. A costly one, but a victory nonetheless. And maybe not even a costly one. He was able to inflict some heavy manpower damage there towards Sapphire. Jeep is getting now some heavy beating. It hits veterancy 1, however, so it could now get capping veterancy. In the meantime, Sapphire is capping the beach quite comfortably with his second scout. Bike kept both 16 pointers. We have Zone Rouge unlocked. Third Palm Grenadier is on the way. It kinda smells like maybe espionage. Espionage being one of the tournament favorites. Here we go. Rifleman now on the ramp wave from Sapphire. Mines coming down immediately on the safe fuel from Shark. No sweeper. And keep in mind, the Panzer Pioneer Super is relatively expensive with 45 ammo. So, and it takes longer than the standard Super to get built or upgraded. Oh, that might be a dead bike. Bye bye, bike. Why not? Bye bye. Bike threading the needle. And again, bike is on the between two mines. Now, who do you focus? Bike or Panzer Pioneer? Minesweeper's coming out. So Shark saw the mines coming down. And Zone Uruk is countered. Will get plenty of XP for the Panzer Pioneer. Bike has to retreat. Veteran C1 no in for Shark. However, Rifleman comes there and gets the bike. So in the end, Shark's 500 AQ gets countered by Sapphire's 800 AQ plays. Kappa. Map control is in Sapphire's advantage. Sapphire getting infantry upgrade center and med tent. Shark in the meantime taking fire support elements. He has veteran C1 on one Panzer Grenadier. No heal, so that is okay. Oh, might get the scout there on retreat. Model goes down. Yep, scout stands no chance. Hill advantage, no, or height advantage, rather. It's not really a hill. No, working into Shark's favor. Veteran C1, Panzer Grenadier or Pom Grenadier closing in. Mines getting revealed. And even more veterancy for the Panzer Pioneers. Feels like they're getting really close to veterancy 2 there. Not sure if there's, yeah. It's okay. Obviously, Panzer Pioneers have really decent combat vet, but obviously they're still only a Pioneer unit. Second Pioneer on the way from Shark, he's like, man, you put down one zone rook, you will do it again, and I really don't want to lose any necessary amount of manpower to that. So second Pioneer it is. Motor pool now coming down from Sapphire. We have Pioneer package on the free French. And not sure if Shark... Yeah, Shark realizes his mistake walking into a gunfight there. And going home. So Sapphire not having much infantry firepower on the field. Only 2 mainline squads with the free French. And the Refman now getting a Greyhound. Greyhound having an amazing timing. 7.5 will be on the field probably around 7:20, 7:30. And then it will hit like a brick. Shark obviously has unlocked the quad, but is still 7 fuel away from it. And no AT is on the field at the moment. He has 6-man upgrade, both with Panzer Grenadiers. Sapphire not having enough ammo though for skirts and pintle. So let's see what Sapphire prefers. Survivability or DPS. Graham on the field and going to the front, and he is team DPS and getting the pintle first. Shark trying to harass map there with the Panzer Pioneer not working out as planned. Panzer Pioneer now relatively low, but should make the great escape. Quarters on the way for Shark. He hasn't seen the Greyhound yet, so he is not feeling under an immediate threat there. However, now Greyhound reveals itself, and I think Shark is now contemplating his decision to get early 6-man upgrade. No AT on the field means this Panzer Grenadier might make the ultimate sacrifice. Oh no, oh no. Quad is on the field, obviously can't really help against the Greyhound without putting itself at risk. Jeep gets killed by the base defense. Quad is getting low. Shark cuts a chain snare. He gets the Greyhound. Gets the wipe. They will probably die on the retreat as well though. So, but it felt like a worth trade considering that Sapphire has majority map control and now is utilizing the full retreat of Shark to regain the majority map control. Shark is waiting till the cooldown is gone on the snare. Here we go, new snares out, gets the Greyhound. And gets replaced immediately, and obviously Sapphire is in a position to afford it. He has plenty of resources in the bank, or had. So trading their 1-for-1 felt like a dream or worth trade. Not getting the full cap there. Miss micro by Sapphire. 3 French now pushing up, getting their Chateau. How is the. Jesus Christ. French machine gun. French bar. We have AT gun call in now from Shark. We have Greyhound on the feet. No ammo though for Pintle nor skirts. I think it's 50, so he could afford it now. Sapphire has 67 ammo per minute, so he is in a position where he could afford a lot of upgrades. Espionage being picked, and Greyhound immediately getting scavenged for a bar, and we have now a double LMG Panzer Grenadier, which is obviously nice to have with the Breda. New Greyhound reveals itself. And makes a lot. It is technically resource loss for Shark, but it's not as bad being able to scavenge Flak and Greyhound. Third Rifleman then now on the way from Sapphire, and I feel like he's now getting into a position where he's like, yeah, my early game army comp is looking pretty fine. Funkpanzerwagen upgrade now in. Oh, AT gun will go down. Funkpanzerwagen could tow it though. I'm not sure if Sapphire has nades. We have, by the way, also VSL. Funkpanzerwagen will go down. And here we go. Funkpanzerwagen gets destroyed. And Greyhound with Radar getting fast decaptures, but only decaptures though, no full capping. Map control still under Sapphire's control, and Shark is not really able to get a foot into the door there. He is still lacking a lot of map control. He is not really able to win infantry engagement. He obviously is not behind kill-wise, but not ahead either. So it's not looking good. Obviously, his advantage is if he's able to weather the storm and make it into a long game, he will have a comeback chance with double LMG VSL Panzer Grenadiers. We have a Stone AT gun though for Sapphire, which will make the life easier for the USF player. Like AT gun, obviously not the best AT gun, but more than sufficient. And the Greyhound is just being a menace without proper AT. Nate Assault thanks to, I think it's Old Guard, New Blood. AT gun is now on the field. Let's see if Shark is able to push the Greyhound into the AT gun. Gets a shot in with fire ammo. But Shark's still not really able to get any map control, and he's approaching 0 map control really, really fast. Yeah, not looking well. Ground doing so much damage. It's not looking well for Mr. Shark. VP control's not really bad for Shark. He is behind, but like only 30 VPs, so that's okay. Let's have a look at... Oh, wrong button. I'm terribly sorry. I meant to push this one. But he has more than 100 fuel disadvantage to compared to Sapphire. And that's a big no-no. Like I said, however, Espionage offers a lot there. With fire AT guns or incendiary AT guns, you can fight the tanks relatively well. But the shabby one will be unpleasant to deal with. Tier 4 is up. Ground was fully repaired. Yeah, Shark is throwing snares. Look at the damage from the fire snares, man. 50% damage on snares is just nasty. Oh, Rifleman has to go double. Or Panzer Grenadiers with VSL and weapon upgrade are really, really strong. Greyhound will make the great escape. But Sapphire not that far off from his first tank. Shark needs to get a second AT gun. He is getting a fourth. He lost the Palm Grenadier. Oh no, he's rebuilding it. We missed that. Noob caster. AT gun no deep in enemy territory, has to run. Getting spotted now. Riflemen are sprinting in. And I'm not sure if the loss of a second AT gun is something that Shark is able to compensate. AT guns are expensive, especially when you're behind and need those resources for something else. He's trying to do the dance, but he can't hide. He's just delaying the inevitable. And yeah. And AT gun will get recruited and will get stolen. And that's a huge loss. Sapphire now has double AT gun without ever investing any resources into AT guns. He can now comfortably unlock the shabby one and build it. However, he has a different plan. He's now getting a vanilla Sherman. Playing it safe, but a 105 or a shabby one would be probably the final nail in the coffin there. Shark playing dark from behind with espionage as possible, but being so behind, I'm not sure if he can compensate for that. He has veterancy advantage, but still, I don't know. Shark has so many different problems, and espionage. The strength of espionage with the caches is you need the cache to get those strengths. Retreat nade, yeah. You have to give it to Sapphire. He's trying that. He's trying to get those wipes with retreat nades. Sherman now on the field, getting the Pintle upgrade. We have no LMG on all or French LMG on all the riflemen. Once Sapphire unlocks bars, he has double LMG on all his riflemen, which is pretty strong. P3 on the way for Shark, so he was able to afford a tier 3 building. But it will be an incredibly tough ask. Oh, he has scavenged weapons for his Panzer Pioneers. They have a G43, so they scavenge probably the Funkpanzerwagen or a bike or something like that. But I don't see Shark making a comeback there. P3 has to do some heavy lifting, but a vanilla P3 without any tank upgrades is just not that good, especially in a 1-on-1 fight against Sherman. AT guns are not close by. Sherman. Oh, another Panzer Grenadier makes the ultimate sacrifice. Nice nades. They're not doing much damage, but will force a retreat. P3 now below 50% HP, and Sherman still has plenty of HP. One more shot. And the bounce! And Shark calls it. 1-1 for Sapphire. GG, well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for game number 3 between Sapphire and Shark. We are now on Langres. I would even say one of my favorite maps due to its high tempo, high aggressive gameplay. And we have Mr. Sapphire as the Wehrmacht. And on the other side, we have Mr. Shark once again as the USF. So Langres is obviously known to be a tricky map to play. It's small, has some infamous cutoff plays. It's the oldest map in the map pool. I think I sound like a broken record that I always repeat those things in every cast that Langres shows up, but it's probably the main feature of this map, so definitely worth pointing out. Riflemen start from Shark, no G-Pow it looks like this time. We have standard Grenadiers start from Sapphire with double Pioneer. Split capping from Sapphire as expected. Shark capping the 16-pointer first. That's interesting considering how long those take to cap. I would love to see some Siege Breaker from Sapphire. I want to see more of those new battle groups in the tournament setting. So, Grenadier rushing the house. Shark has problems of legs. Oh no. Jeep now on the way as a second unit gets cancelled. Mortar on the way from Shark. Oh, preemptive mortar. Always a risky choice if there's no MG. The mortar is a useless unit, so I'm not sure if that's the right call there. He is expecting an MG, but there is none. First engagement is going on over here. Support of Pioneers coming over, and I think the Refman has to go home. Yep, here we go. Mortar hits the field, and now that's a huge numerical disadvantage for Shark. Now he's one Rifleman against 2 Grenadiers, and I'm not sure if he will be able to maintain map control there. 10-point of view now getting denied the full cap there, and now Shark is in a really tough position. Well, he was able to force off the Pioneers, so the Engineer can cap over here, so it's something. However, still Sapphire has slight fuel lead there, and it will be now even bigger with camping of the 10-pointer over here. The whole right-hand side is capped regarding resources for Sapphire. Sapphire now getting infantry officer quarters, and Shark is not looking well. So yeah, I'm not sure. Mortar now opening fire. Second Rifleman on the way, and I think Shark is now realizing his mistake. It's like, oh no, Mortar not the greatest choice there. Yeah, I'm don't know. Nate's on the way for Shark. We have no... Yeah, we have Nate on the way for Shark, but I'm not sure if Nate is the right call there. He needs to get out the third rifleman and get... I don't feel like he can go for Greyhound this game. It feels like a tier 1, tier 2 play with GMC. Veteran tier 1 advantage, no kicking for Sapphire. Trying to nade over here, gets dodged though, and now the advantage of the nade is gone. No, Sapphire knows what he's about, and we have tier 2 on the way for Sapphire, so we can see a 2-2-1, and we now see the... well, we see something from Shark. He's able to harass the cutoff over here, so he will be able to equalize resource income. So it's something. That's the infamous Langres cutoff there. Obviously no MG for Shark, so not as bad as it could be. No full decap here. We have a sneaky mine there from Shark. Triple cap running into Shark's favor, still showing how strong USF is on this map. We have a third rifleman on the way on the field. We have no mech support center on the way for Shark as well. Big push now from Shark towards the cutoff. I'm not sure if he's able to hold it there. Nade out gets nicely dodged, and Grenadier is now closing the gap, but against two riflemen, yeah, he's going home. 2-2-1, however, now on the queue, and Shark is so far away from a counter. Shark now losing the control over both fuel points, which will once again put him really behind. Sapphire now going for breakthrough and rapid production, so 2-2-1 will be out in no time. Two to one, no pushing. And 2-1 will be a pain in the butt for Shark. Flamer out from Sapphire, and I don't know what Shark can do. He needs to play tier 2. He can't wait for tier 3. He will die. He will be dead before he rise at tier 3. We have no MG on the way from Sapphire. 2-1 will be a problematic unit. Looking nice with those locks on the side there. Nice skin. Captain on the way for Shark now. But Shark basically sitting in 0 map control, only having the 5-pointer over here fuel-wise, and yeah. And I'm not sure if you can close the gap and get us near under 2-1. Rifleman getting pushed back. Yeah, 2-1 doing so much damage. Shark not happy about it. Yeah, but you kinda mistake there. So being harassed by the 2-1 like that is expected, and you need to go tier 2 if you are so behind. Shark really not happy. Mine getting sweep. No, getting placed, but got spotted and gets destroyed by the mortar. Mine over here gets sweeped. Oh, that might be a dead Grenadier Shark being in the retreat path there. One model drop. No chase. Late chase there. Another model drop. 2 more needed. He stops, which might give... Yeah, Grenadier will just make it home. Nice mine there. Covers Shark's push. And restores Shark's momentum there. And tier 3 is now coming up. But he's so far behind. Jäger now on the field. Probably getting the G43 upgrade right away. Here we go. Reconnaissance package is on the way. But something went down over here. Engineer got wiped by the 221. Yeah, 221 is just not being checked, which means Shark will bleed so much map control and manpower. Smoke over here to deny the vision for the MG42. AT gun away from Shark. It's an expensive AT gun, man. Like, going motor pool just for AT gun feels like a bad choice. Sapphire applying so much pressure. He's already thinking about tier 3 tech. Getting base seal, I'm not liking that. He has enough resources, he could easily afford a med bunker, especially on this small map. The medics will probably be able to recover all those downed models. Nice hit from the mortar, but well, the mortar won't be a counter to the 2-1, obviously. Yeah, sprint towards the 2-1, but I doubt that he will be able to get the snare off. Yeah. AT gun is now in position, so he could get the AT gun. MG42 setting up over here. 2-1 is hiding though. AT gun gets spotted. Yeah, and 2-1 will be long gone before AT gun is in the position. Riflemen now full retreat once again, and Shark still sitting at basically no resource income. I don't know for how long he's able to keep up with that. It's not looking good. AT gun will now go down. Yeah, Shark trying everything. He will recapture the AT gun, but he's so behind. And tier 3, like I said, without the ground or so, tier 3 is really not great. MG42 in a nice position there. Yeah, but the company on the way, tier 4 is on the way for Sapphire. And Shark so struggling for resources. Jäger now in a nice position there. Yeah, engineers trying to close the gap there, but they will lose so much HP before they're close by, and they will be forced off. Rifleman is able to close the gap, so maybe he's able to force off the Jäger. Jäger hits veterancy. One AT gun is trying to get an angle on the 2-1. Maybe. Yep, here we go. AT gun connects, but 2-1 will be long gone before his second shot comes out, which ensures the survival. Shark trying to envelop the position over here, but I'm not sure if he's able to do so. That might be a dead scout. If Sapphire is switching target fire, nope. Captain using his connections to high for with the higher ups to get some mortar fire over here, but the Grand will be long gone. Still Shark like struggling so much. P4 no out. Sapphire playing it safe. I feel like this would be the perfect game for Brumbe. Brumbe out and Shark will surrender. But he has no resource income. And Sapphire already thinking about his second tank, and Shark not even thinking about his first tank because he's miles away from his tier 4. Shark is probably thinking, okay, I need a second AT gun, but manpower is not looking that well. AT gun gets a shot in, so it's something. Firebombing on the way, but AT gun has the sprint, so should make it home thanks to Captain Dan. Sapphire now revealing his battle gear, and Shark calls it. GG, well played. 2-1 for Sapphire. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for game number 4. Is Shark able to pull back this game and make it into a to see the ace game, or will Sapphire be able to seal the deal and be the 3rd place winner? We are back on Langres, and we have Mr. Sapphire as the USF, and immediately calling in the Weasel by name, Weasel by nature. Also getting an engineer start, so pretty interesting there. And on the other side we have Mr. Shark as the DAG, as the Africa Corps. So standard start by Shark as well. Bike on the field, getting a Palm Grenadier. We have barracks on the way, so no Spec Ops with MGs. This kind of fell out of the favor due to the MG nerfs, and to be honest, I'm glad. Some nice Via coming down over here from Mr. Sapphire. Weasel obviously being really useful and as a capping unit until you have the 30 ammo for the Pintle. Here we go, once the cutoff is capped, I assume Sapphire is queuing the MG right away. Here we go. Weasel now switching towards the left side, probably supporting the scout against a potential push, or capping the 16-pointer first. My bad. No engagements yet, minute 2, which is really unusual for Langres. Here we go. First shots were fired by the bike. Sapphire got the building. Not a huge advantage there, especially with an engineer, but still. Both 16-pointer ammo on Sapphire's side have been kept. Same for Shark though. Scout now coming in to support the Weasel against the Panzer Pioneers. And I don't see the Panzer Pioneers being able to stick around, and Sapphire now rushing to deny the full cap there, and Shark retreats. First real engagement between mainline infantry now ensuing on the cutoff on the right hand side. 2 Pom Grenadiers are pushing a Rifleman, and I'm not sure if the Rifleman can stick around. We have some support coming in. Weasel is closing in. Engineers closing in. 1 Panzer or Pom Grenadier has to go here. Oh, might lose it. Nope. Will Sapphire be able to deny the decap there? We have a second Rifleman on the field. He will be able to cross the roads. Thank God for no red cover in Cove 3. A lot of HP was lost by the Pom Grenadier, so I'm not sure if Shark can stick around to win this engagement. Bike obviously being a really handy unit there. However, no full retreat from Shark. Veteran C1 is unlocked for the Pom Grenadiers, but 3 models are left with low HP, which is really not ideal. Shark in the meantime throwing more units down the meat grinder. 3rd Pom Grenadier is now advancing as a supporting unit. He really wants to get this cut off, and he will probably succeed. We have Met Station Weasel, by the way. And nope, Shark retreats. Flamer Engineer now out for Sapphire, and the cutoff was not capped. And that's a lot of resources invested by Shark for no change in map control. Sapphire also slightly ahead with 2 more kills, but that's to be expected with the Weasel. Or maybe not, Bike also being a nice unit regarding the KD. Shark always getting all the sweepers, something I really need to point out as a positive thing. Shark really getting sweeper earlier, not like many players or even like many pro players only getting the first sweeper after they hit the first mine. But Shark desperately needs seal now. He needs, obviously 250 is not an option, but he needs to take, or not the best call, so tacking up and hoping for the 250 call in a minute is probably the thing to do. We have no tag yet from Shark. He has no manpower. He is getting a 4th Pom Grenadier, so really doubling down on this early build. That's really unusual. You don't see 4 Pom Grenadier builds that often. Keep in mind, battle group elimination is in effect, so Shark can't pick espionage again. And I'm not sure if he can weather the storm there. He's now fully off the field, and Sapphire now can harass the cutoff. We have tier 3 in the build motor pool, which means Greyhound is not that far off. Shark only now getting tier 1. Obviously, tier 1 offers a low tech anti-tank with the Panzerjäger, so it would not be the end of the world. But Shark already invested so heavily into infantry, I'm not sure if that was the right call. Smoke from the scout saves the bacon off the Pom Grenadier. Man, Shark is needing... They're so expensive to reinforce as well, the Poms. I'm not sure if the 4th Pom Grenadier wasn't over-investment. And now Shark lost his cutoff. And map control is now slipping away. We should capture the cutoff there. Yeah, here we go. To deny Shark the last remaining resources. Obviously, Shark can now do a big all-in Ooga Booga assault with 4 Pom Grenadiers, but he can't even... I hope he's not having... Yeah, he has no bolster Pom Grenadier upgrade. But this is hard to push. Everyone is sitting in green. You can smell the tilt. One Pomegranadier might get wiped. Nope, Greyhound is not on the way. Oh boy, Pomegranadier here has to retreat. Might be too late. Here we go. We'll lose another wire. Shark Shark calls it GG. Well played. That was a short game number 4. And this means Sapphire won 3-1 and is the 3rd place of this Rising Star tournament. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. Some YouTube exclusive content. Drop a comment if you want to see more of those things where we cast the 3rd place match every time so you can watch it. Maybe some highlight games from earlier rounds, like in the Pro League that just has or will soon start, or will probably have already started once you see this video. So yeah, drop a like, drop a subscription, leave a comment, and see you in the next cast. Bye bye.
We want to thank our website patrons. This is by far the best way to support MetaPlays. Your contribution helps keep the project sustainable and allows us to produce more and better content. If you aren't yet a patron, check out our link in the description and get in touch to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.